Hey, Chase Craig here with Own Boise and Keller Williams Realty Boise, and today I want to dive into the market data through the end of August 2022. Now, I know this video is way too long and you will not watch the whole thing, so here's the top 3 things you need to know about what's going on in our market today. Number 1 is inventory is actually pretty flat month over month. Number 2, no surprise, sales are actually down year over year. And then number 3, we are actually up on average sold price year to date. So if you want to dive into those numbers and find out more about it, watch the rest of this video. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty here. I've got the data pulled up, and before I dive in too much, I just want you to know that if you are wanting access to this data, we have it for Ada County, Canyon County, Elmore County. I think we even have it for Gem County. We even can go more micro, and I'll show you. I've got all the data from all the different markets. So there's Ada County as a whole, which is what we're looking at right now. Sorry. Here's North Boise, we've got Northeast Boise. We can break this down, Kuna, everywhere in Ada County, and it's the same thing for Canyon County and the other counties that I mentioned. So if you're interested in this data, there's a link in our YouTube channel, or you can just reply to your favorite Own Boise agent, and we'd love to get this data to you. We really believe that you should be as informed as possible before you're making a buying and selling decision. If you hate data and don't want to comb through it like we do, well, no worries. We've done it for you. So just reach out to us. We'll share our interpretation of the data so you can make the right decision for your unique situation. So let's go ahead and dive in though. Inventory is pretty flat month over month. So we did actually climb, but very, 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 in a very small way compared to what we did this same time the last few months. So in April, we more than doubled our inventory. That's this red line right here that I'm showing you guys. We went from 468 to 1,000, and then May to June we went up another 300 listings to 1,386. June to July we went up another almost 200 listings to 1,565, and now we've more or less kind of flattened out, 1,565 to 1,602. That's about a 2% increase, pretty insignificant. Now, what is it going to do here going into the next month? Well, this time last year, from August to September, we actually saw our peak of inventory in September of 2021. So will it peak in September of 2022? My prediction is we'll actually see inventory go down at the end of September 2022. Now, I could be wrong, so call me out in the next video if I am, and hopefully I'll remember to call myself out as well. But I'm guessing we'll go down, and here's why. A lot of these, when we're actually helping someone sell a home, it's not like they just call us up and say, hey, list my house today, and then we throw a sign in the yard and it goes. A lot of times we're working with sellers for months and months and months, which reminds me, if you're thinking about selling anytime in the next 12 months, you should give us a call today because we'd love to help you strategize. Whether that's making sure it actually makes sense to list at that time, what are some things you could do to prepare the home to sell, is there any repairs you should do, or sometimes even as important, repairs you shouldn't do. We've had people that want to improve their house and it's not going to make them any money. So that's why you call us right now to help make sense of what you should do when you're selling your home. But my point is we're working with these people for quite some time. So go back to, let's say, January. A lot of these homes that were listed were likely, they made their decision in January, February, or March, and it might not have hit the market until April, May, June, July. Well, the market obviously changed during that time frame. So I'm just sharing this with you because a lot of people thought they might have been able to get X price. Let's say $1 million, the coveted $1 million that we hear about all the time. Well, what if they can only get $850? Now, some of these people have to sell. Some of them just would like to sell. And some of them are just trying. So my prediction is we're going to see a lot of the triers get their homes off the market. They're going to stay put because they can't get the number they thought they could get. And, we're going to see inventory decrease. I think that'll happen before the end of this month in September. Time will tell. That's my prediction. I'm not sure what yours is. Write it in the comments on YouTube or reply and let us know what you think. So let's go to the next data point that we talked about, and that is sales are down year over year. Now that's not really a big surprise, right? Like we saw rates go from 3%, now they're close to 6%. Obviously, there's going to be less people buying and selling when it costs significantly more to buy and sell, right? Or to buy a home, and if you're selling, you're going to have to, likely going to have to buy. So what's the actual data? So in August of 2021, we saw 1,510 closed and pendings in that month. And then August of 2022, we saw 1,092. So that's down about 38% year over year. Now, just so if you're reading this data, you can see the black line's closed sales and the gray line's pending sales. So closed sales likely, those were pendings from July or even sometimes June. And the pending sales will, in August at 526, those will likely be closed sales in September or October. Just with the timing that it takes, it's typically a 30 to 45 day window when we see these homes sell. Now, this is just resale, by the way. I've got a new construction slide I'll show you guys here in a bit, and a couple bonus slides for those of you that are going to stick around to the very end. So stay tuned for that. All right, last thing we talked about, number 3, was we're actually up on average sold price year to date. So our current average sold price for Ada County is $610,000, and that's a 6.1% increase from the beginning of this year. So you're seeing some price reductions, you're seeing some pullback on prices. We're still actually up on the average sold price. I would say that might come down a little bit before the end of the year, but based on what we're looking at here, it's likely we're actually going to remain positive through the end of this year. Time will tell. It just depends on how quick people move. So I told you I'd show you some new construction data. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that right now. You can see it's very similar in terms of the inventory. This time last year they had 404 homes on the market in August of 2021, and now we got 905, so that's about double. They're actually a little bit closer in terms of the closed and pending sales year over year. So we were down 38% on the resale side. New construction's down about 20%. So they had about 1,100 closed and pending this time last year, and this month, through the end of this month, they had about a little over 900 pending. So they're down about 20% versus the resale side being down about 38%. Average sold price for new construction $673. That's up 16.5% year to date. So it's very, very, very likely that if you bought new construction this year, you're actually going to end up in the positive. Now, here's the bonus slides. I want to talk to you guys. I've mentioned this before. There's a housing shortage nationwide. So we're going to go into some national data, and I'm going to just briefly talk about some of the reasons why the market's not falling through the planet, if you will. It's not falling to the abyss like some people think it should, or they'd like it to for whatever reason. But here's why. So let's go into, this is just construction in millions of homes. So if you go back to 2005, a lot of homes got built. 1.7 million homes, in fact, got built. So that's awesome. The average trend, the historical average, has been about 1 million per year. Well, what happened in 06 and 07? They actually still beat those numbers. And then 08, the Great Recession, you guys have heard plenty about that. But look what happened to the numbers. We had 400,000 homes didn't get built. And then in 09, 600,000 homes didn't get built, et cetera, et cetera. If you add all this data up below this yellow line, there's 2.5 million homes that did not get built. So that's a pretty significant chunk of homes that we're missing right now. Okay, so that's one of the data points I want to point out. The second one is institutional buyers. Now this map is phenomenal, so you can pause it and study this if you'd like, but I thought this was such a cool map. So this is showing institutional buyers on the residential side. So this is home purchases by institutional buyers and where they're spending their money. Look at Texas. There's 28% of the sales in Texas have been institutional buyers. New construction sales, by the way. Come over to Idaho, 8% of the new construction sales have been institutional buyers. So this is just crazy, 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 crazy. And you know what I'm saying, new construction? This is just home purchases, so my apologies. But that's a huge thing that hasn't happened in the past. You go back to like 2005, 2004, there was not large institutions buying subdivisions. They were not doing that. They were investing in high rises and other things, but not in the residential side. It wasn't until that crash took place, the Great Recession, and we saw them snatching up real estate left and right. And this is just 2021, so this is a significant amount of home purchases. It's another reason why we saw so much appreciation in 2021. Well, guess what? These guys are bidding up the prices. So that's a really, really interesting data point. Now, when they're buying these homes, homeowners can't buy them, right? So they're buying them and renting them out. But unfortunately, if you were a buyer last year, you probably were competing with these guys. Even if it wasn't directly, you were competing with them because they were driving up the cost of land and the cost of real estate. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to point out, this is just more so for the renters out there. Rents have been rising rapidly. I mean, look at this. If you were renting in 2000 versus renting today, it's almost doubled. And this is the national average. In fact, this data point's actually a little bit delayed. I saw the national average was like 1815 or something like that about a month ago. So what's the point of all this stuff? If you have a good enough reason to buy and you can afford it, we strongly encourage you, get your foot in the market. Over time, real estate does appreciate. And, a lot of people say, well, if it goes down, I lose money. Well, you would lose money if you bought and then the market went down and you sold. You're absolutely right. But how much money are you losing by renting month after month after month only to watch the landlord have to increase the price, right? Because they're getting charged more in taxes, or the market itself is just demanding more money because there's not enough rental properties out there. When you own your home, you can do whatever you want in that home for the most part, unless they're CC&Rs. But if you want to improve it, you can. You can improve your rental, and if you do, it's a waste of money, right? And also, you set the price. You set your monthly cost. Whereas if you're renting, you don't know if your rent's going to get increased. I mean, I've heard of people getting their rent increased 3 or 4 times in a year because the landlord won't let them sign a 6-month or a 12-month lease because it's just rapidly appreciating. So that's all I wanted to go over today. I hope that you guys learned something. If you guys have any questions for us, we would love to help answer them for you. Stay tuned for next month's video. We'll get you the data. We'll see how right or wrong I was. And if you have questions, like I said, put them in the comments, respond, call us, whatever way you want to get a hold of us. We'd love to help answer your questions and make sure you can make the most informed decision as you're looking to navigate this market. It's changing rapidly, and it matters who you hire as agents. Make sure you get a full-time agent. And if you are interviewing agents, make sure Own Boise is one of those agents you're interviewing. So thank you guys so much for checking this out. Looking forward to seeing you out there. And if you have questions, again, hit us up.